Hello, everybody, and welcome out to the pod of War Gamescast. I'm your host, UF Gizmo, joined this week by the mass of the DAS, Chris McGilly,
Hello, everyone.
and everyone's favourite Game Pass shill, it's CW Lanky.
Hello.
So, boys and the boys, no girls, just boys. Another week has gone by. Obviously, we had a very successful chat last week about cloud gaming, and a lot of cloud gaming news has happened since then, which we're going to talk about in the show. So, before we get to that, let's do what we always do and talk about the rigmarole. Let's start with Mr. Craig Warren. Craig, what have you been playing this week?
So this week I have I finished off Immortality, guys, which was a really fun one. Definitely would recommend it if you're into that sort of thing. For the days of the world, it's a definite pass. But if you're into your weird indies, definitely give it a go. It's a wee bit longer than the other game of this guy. I can't ever remember this guy's name. Is it Sam Barlow?
Yeah, that's correct.
I think you've mentioned it 4 podcasts in a row and you can't remember his name. Every single one.
I've only been playing it for 2 weeks, but
it feels like it, Craig. It feels like it. Sam Barlow.
Yeah, it's a wee bit longer than some of his other games, but it's not that long, so you can kind of plow through it fairly quickly.
And I presume that was Game Pass.
Oh yeah, definitely Game Pass. The kind of the acting in this is amazing. The production is awesome. It's based on 3 films basically. One's in the 60s, one in the 70s, and one in the 90s, and they did a really good job of kind of making the sets and that really look like the time that they were supposedly made in. So yeah, definitely recommend that one. I also stole a tactic from Dave here and got the completion of the Procession Cavalry, which is a game, isn't it? Christ,
it's very strange, isn't it? Very strange.
It's an experience. It was a Macca's guide. It was about an hour.
It's 45 minutes. I think it took me.
Yeah, breezed through it. Would have took me forever without the guide. I would never have figured out.
Oh god, yeah. I wouldn't have lasted the first screen, Craig, to be honest with you.
I'd never have figured out a lot of this crap, which I think is just the case of these point and click games, isn't it? That was completion number 49, so we're nearly to 50, boys. We're nearly there.
Can't wait for the 50 stream, Craig. Have you decided what game is going to be 50? Obviously, it has to be an important game.
I don't know. We'll see. There's a few. I mean, like Tinykins and easy completion. I really want to play that, but we'll see. We'll see what comes out and what's fairly easy to get completions on. I finally finished the main kind of story of Grid Legends.
Lovely.
So I've unlocked the career mode now. So we'll keep battering through that.
Hell yeah.
And then I finally started Deathloop since it came out onto Game Pass. Definitely a strange game to get into. It throws a lot at you. And at first I was like, I don't know if I'm feeling this. I'm not massively into kind of roguelike games to begin with, so that kind of put me off a bit. Once you kind of get past that and you understand what's going on and kind of what you need to do, it kind of becomes a lot simpler. And once you kind of get some powers as well, that makes the game much better because you do feel a little bit underpowered to start off with. But once you've kind of got the classic mini teleport ability from the Dishonored games, I can turn invisible for a bit now. I feel like I can kind of breeze through sections much faster. So yeah, I'm enjoying that now. It's I don't want to be the guy that's like, oh, it's bad until it's good, because I hate it when people say that about games. But there's a little bit of a brief couple of hours, and you just got to figure out what the hell is going on and what it really wants you to do. Once you get past that, I've been enjoying it a lot. So yeah, it's I keep chipping away at that. It's it breaks the whole world up into 4 mini kind of open worlds. You kind of go in and do runs and then kind of get out, and that's kind of how you do the story and how you keep it advancing. How you figure things out. I'm guessing once you've figured everything out, then you can then do your kind of run, which will break the loop. So I'm kind of working towards that at the moment.
Death. Break the
loop. Yeah. So yeah, that's been it for me. Those 4 last week or so.
You are such an advocate for Game Pass at this point, Craig. Quite frankly,
Oh yeah,
Xbox needs to be sending you stuff, really.
all of that was obviously Game Pass. The procession to Calvary as well was the day before it left Game Pass. I
Yeah.
realized, and I was
Thank
like,
God I'd
oh
warned
bugger.
you. Thank God. Thank God
Yeah.
I would have been there to provide a service. Yeah.
Yeah, they need to send Craig like Xbox controllers and stuff like that. All the
I
Xbox
think if he
gears.
starts streaming, that's really the next step. And I'm surprised he hasn't. I keep trying, ladies and gentlemen. I keep trying to get Craig on the stream train.
Yeah, and
But
just stream Game Pass
yeah,
games.
exactly. It'll come. It'll come. Very nice, Craig. We'll move on to me before we get to the main event that is, of course, Chris Pengelly. So I've played a couple of games this week, and much like Craigo, I've been following a completion number that I'm aiming for. So I actually got completions 37 and 38 over the last couple of days. The first one being Spider-Man Miles Morales. Finished that game when I got my PS5 the first time around last year, which seems like such a long time ago, but it was like right at the beginning of last year. And I did it again for New Game Plus. Really fun game. I kind of think it's more fun than the main Spider-Man game because the combat is just so much more enjoyable. Miles just has more powers, so he has his powers and gadgets as well as like the normal Spider-Man shenanigans. And I just found the kind of smaller, contained story a lot more fun, to be honest, and quite emotional. Still, like the story is really well done. Obviously, now I'm playing it has performance ray tracing mode, so it's 60 frames, 1080p ray tracing, and obviously it's a ridiculously good-looking game on the PS5. So I really recommend the game. It is via PS Plus because I'm obviously the PS Plus shill. If Craig is the Game Pass shill, so that's the first game that I platinumed. The second game actually today I platinumed. This is one for Pengy. Super Destronaut DX2 in
Oh,
Super
nice.
Super Destronaut games. Now the Super Destronaut games are Radalika games, Craig, but they do actually require skill and are actually quite difficult. Because they're Space Invaders games, but they have like high scores you need to hit. And it's not like get 10, it's like get 120,000 without dying, which probably took me about 2 hours today to do that. I actually quite enjoyed it. I think it was 79 pence. Um,
I'm gonna guess that Pengy doesn't have this
no,
platinum or trophy.
no, this one's come out this year. Chris will buy it today. Now that I've said it's 79 pence. They have like a series. The third one is a first-person shooter, but it's like Space Invaders, which I also have. I haven't played yet. I'm actually quite looking forward to playing that. But yeah, the Super Destronaut games are definitely on the more difficult scale for Radalika games. Still, I mean, if you're good at Space Invaders, you can do it in 2 hours like I did. But
Yeah, I
yeah,
think I do have the platinum for that. The one I don't have the platinum, I think it's called Ink Explosion. Is
yeah,
that
you
which
really
is your
struggled with that, which is really funny because I think most people can do it in about 45, but I know that you've got like 35% of the trophies or something.
so
Yeah, but obviously,
but,
as we've
yeah.
discussed, all of Chris's platinums are bad. So I like to balance mine. So once I've done one proper game, I don't mind doing a quick game. But that takes me up to 38. So I'm much like Craig getting near a big milestone. I'm torn with what 40 is going to be. I'm very torn. So at the minute, I'm torn between Horizon Forbidden West, F1 Manager, and Ghost of Tsushima. It's going to be one of those three, but I don't know which one it's going to be. All quite grindy, you'll agree.
Mm,
Yeah, I was about to say there's a three pretty big games, I'd imagine, for the completions.
Yeah, I mean, Ghost of Tsushima and Horizon is just a collectible fest, which is why I'm not doing God of War because I don't mind fighting the Valkyries, but I cannot be asked to go and get all the collectibles in that game because it's just not a conducive game for that. And obviously it's PlayStation, so I don't have my save. So you know what I mean? Um, but yeah, I'm torn. I mean, I think F1 is actually the easiest list, but it's the most grindy because you just have to like win all the time. So I started a save with Ferrari and I'm
mm.
halfway through season one. I've got quite a lot of trophies through that, so I think I can probably do it. But it's like it's a 1% platinum. I think like no one has it. So yeah, 1.4% of people have that platinum. So it would be quite a boon to have it. But yeah, it'd be one of those three again. Ghost of Tsushima's on PS Plus, so I've got that to play. But yeah, as for things I've bought, I actually have bought a couple physical games this week, so I'll quickly talk about those. On the Xbox, Craig, I have bought a physical game. Everyone's shocked. I saw it for £15, so I picked it up and I bought the GTA Definitive Edition trilogy because I've been wanting to replay Vice City for so long. Why not? 15 quid for the whole set. So that's on the backlog for Xbox. That will probably not get played for like 3 years, but who knows? And I bought Ratchet and Clank: A Rift Apart for about 25, which was
I
one
think
of the.
that's a doable platinum.
It's a very doable platinum. It's just whether I want to start something new or I want to finish a couple of games that are already on my list, because it does get a bad habit of starting a new game. You know what I'm saying? So I think I might go for one of the two that I've got like 2 trophies on, and then go through, because it's all about getting the completion percentage up this year. I'm already up to 30, almost 37% on PlayStation now, so I still would like to get to 40. Xbox, I think I'm just over 30 now, so I'm getting there. But yeah, and I've played some Ni no Kuni, which is still probably my game of the year on Xbox until Persona 5 Royal comes out next week. Krago, 2 weeks.
Yeah, it's not far away at this point, is it?
It's
The
actually getting.
21st?
Yeah, I think that sounds right. I think it's actually getting a physical on everything, which I didn't realize. It's getting a physical on Xbox. It's getting a PS5 physical. Obviously, it's already
And
physical on
Switch.
PS4. Is it Yeah, is it coming to Switch?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's getting physical on Switch. So I'm kind of hoping, because they've just announced the dates of the next two, and they're coming out the same day. So I am hoping for a double pack here, Pengy.
That could be doable, because if it's 15 quid based on the Steam price for Persona 4 Golden, you could see a double pack for like 35 or something. Because they'd be more expensive because it's Atlas, and there'd be some sort
They'll
of
be about
poster or
£40, right?
postcards. Yeah.
But it's tempting. Obviously, I'll have Game Pass for 2 years, so I'll probably just play it on Xbox, because I do have physical. I don't have a physical copy of 3, which may send my tendencies, but we'll see where we are in January. But yeah, I think that's about it. I have actually started playing Destiny 2 again, but we ain't going to talk about that unless I actually stick to it. So we'll just sweep that under the rug. So now we get to the main event. Pengy, what have you been playing? What have you bought?
So I've just been playing more Direfield Chronicles, which I am just at the start of chapter 5. The game's got 7 chapters, so yeah, getting to the end. I'm thinking like 28 hours and stuff. So I think in there, because I've been doing every mission of this game.
Madness.
Yeah, but the thing is, even the story missions, like you need to be level 32, and there's like the only way you can be level 32 is you do the side missions and stuff like that.
They found a way to make Chris Pengelly do side missions.
Yeah,
They said
so
it
I've
couldn't
been
be
doing
done.
So I've been doing like every mission. Plus, the game has quite a lot of different, like, well, not in-game currencies. There's no like paid currencies, but you can like buy weapons as gold. But to forge like new abilities and that is jade, so you need to do that. You can get like SP to like rank up your characters, and then obviously you got your standard XP and all that. So there's all these different things which you can get from doing the side missions and that. And then it does, even though again it's not like a live service game, the like weapons are like all color coded. So the green ones are the crappy ones, and the gold ones are the super duper ones. So like the main guy, he's got all gold. I got gold weapon, gold helmet, gold boots. Because we doing all the side missions and stuff like that in the game. So playing that, and the only other thing I've played is some more Ghostwire Tokyo on Steam Deck, which I'm about 8 hours in now. Pretty fun until it's got to this chapter. It's only, I think it's chapter 4 I'm on, and it's basically just go around the map, and you've got to cleanse every single Torii gate. So it's like go to the Torii gate, cleanse it, right, fight some demons, then go to the next one and do exactly the same thing. And this is basically the whole chapter is this. So
Again, trying to force Chris Pengelly to do side content.
It's a horrible day, isn't it?
there's not even like Ghostwire Tokyo has loads of other side missions, and you can go to like the weird like cats and stuff and get like a mission off them, and you can read minds of the dogs and they can show you things, and there's other missions. But the actual like the main story one is like, oh, now we got to cleanse all the Torii gates. And I'm like, there's like 20 of them on the map. I'm like, I could have played a Ubisoft game and done that.
You wouldn't have dared play a Ubisoft game, Chris. You know it.
No, we're not. It's not Japanese.
There we go. Well, obviously, Chris's Steam Deck. We're still waiting for some more Steam Deck chat with Chris. I'm sure that will come at some point.
Yeah, but all I've played on it is Ghostwire Tokyo. Like I said, I'm about 8 hours into the game. From like how long to beat, it's only like 11 hours long. But like a chapter 4 is just cleanse the Torii gates, so I guess it's how quick you can get around the map and to get that, like that chapter done. And I think there's only 6 chapters, so
Nice. So you should have that done soon. Lovely.
yeah, most probably.
Is that all you've played? You haven't bought anything this week?
No, so that's what I've played. I've played those two, and then I bought. I don't think I bought it on the last episode. I'm not sure. So I traded in a few bits, and I got Marvel Ultimate Alliance free on Switch.
Okay.
So I got that. Because I was, traded in a few bits, and that's like the only thing I could find. So I got that. What else did I get? I got the Final Fantasy 7 and 8 double pack on Switch. That because I had a voucher on Amazon, and that's what I got with that voucher. So I got that. I picked up Life is Strange for Switch.
Why? Just why?
Why not?
I mean, you've already got achievements and trophies for it. That's surely the only reason to play that game.
No, I can play it again. Now
So
I can play it on
weird.
my Switch.
Such a weird
So,
person, Chris McGay. Such a
so
weird
I got
person.
that. And then I haven't, it's installed, but I haven't played it, Valkyrie Elysium for PS4.
Oh, you bought that?
Yeah,
Oh, you poor bastard, Pengy.
yeah, yeah, so I got that, so.
So you bought that and Direfield?
Yeah.
Oh, you really hate yourself, don't you, Penguin? Oh, dear.
Direfield's great. I've put it in number 10 on my top 10 of the year so far. It's really good.
Jez was talking about the Xbox too, and he was not so high on it. Thank you. Let's just say.
Yeah.
I'd be honest, I forgot it came out. I mean, Square Enix put so
I
many
think
games
most
out.
people have.
They've had like the Star Ocean coming, and it's like okay, like who's got time to play all these JRPGs? Like Nier's coming out again soon, so it's like
My Nier hasn't turned up, so I didn't really want to say I bought Nier, but because it hasn't turned up yet, because of the postal strikes and that. So I'm still waiting for that to come.
so this is why, thank God, I only buy anything off Amazon because they're not
Yeah,
post,
well,
Pengy. They're not
yeah, I
post.
guess, but that 20 quid saving, that's sort of quite a lot.
So how
2
much
quid.
was Nier? It's 35 on Amazon.
I got it for £10 saving, and I got it for 25.
How much is it on PS4?
I don't know.
About 10 quid, reckon, Craig?
I don't know. I played it on Game Pass.
I was gonna say like pre-owned.
Like a sensible person.
It's but anyway, enough about Pengels' money spending. I can't really talk, can I? So let's move on to the topic of the show. This is Craig's news section. I'm actually not going to do the hosting on this. This is all Craig, because we're trying to be more concise. So Craigo, shoot away.
Right, we're going to start with some sad news, boys. Probably the saddest news that we could start with, and that is Google has announced that from January 18th they will be closing down Stadia and refunding all sales of hardware and software. Obviously, you two make up about 25% of the entire Stadia community.
Oh no!
So
Just kick it while it's down. Like, he's already dead. It's already dead, Craig. Just let it go.
I'm never going to stop hating on the Stadia, Dave. It's the only console war that's worth fighting is the anti-Stadia console war, and I've won. I beat that big corporation. I showed them who's boss. But anyway, it's a sad day. Pengy's just talked, so we go to Dave.
So this
Give
is
us the
actually
obituary of Stadia,
the
Dave.
last thumbnail that we get to use the Stadia controller in, and it makes me a little bit sad because it's such a nice controller. Yeah. So what is there to say? I mean, we could literally do a whole video about what they got wrong, but it's not really the time or the place for that. Like realistically, I think Stadia has ended how it lived, and that's with fucking over the consumers and fucking over the devs. So it's like, yep, this was always going to happen, and they're doing it the way they've just announced out of nowhere that it's dying. Like developers who had games that were coming, like it's ludicrous how much they've just you can't buy stuff on the store. Like it's like the same day like a game came out. Didn't Hot Wheels come out like the morning
Yeah,
of? And then it was like, oh yeah, you actually can't buy any games now. So if you didn't like,
you can still get Hot Wheels if you actually search for it.
you
So
can still claim it, yeah, because it's a Stadia
yeah,
Pro game. But if you weren't Stadia Pro and you were excited for Hot Wheels, and you didn't buy it the day it came out, you can't play it. Obviously, it doesn't make a difference anyway because it's all going away. Everything is going away in January. It's not being left on. There's nothing. Like unless you get your saves out, there's nothing. You just have memories. But yeah, me and Chris will probably do a whole episode, like a bitchery for the Stadia, about like our thoughts on it overall. And its biggest crime is it's actually as a piece of technology was really good, and that's what's the most upsetting thing. Like Google didn't have a clue what they were doing with it, but if xCloud ran anywhere near as good as Stadia did, then it would be an even better service because it doesn't at the moment. But yeah, what can you say about Stadia at this point?
Chris,
That's
you're the other quarter of the Stadia community. You upset about this? Do you care? Or have you given up hope a long time ago?
I sort of given up hope because it's Google and that, but like they said, it like I've had a quick game of Crucible on Destiny 2 because it's cloud and that it works so well. That's the thing. Out of all the cloud services I tried, it is the one that works the best. That makes it like the sadder bit of like it had someone not called Phil Harrison like heading it.
The
Then
great
maybe
curse. The great
the
curse
great
is Phil
curse.
Harrison.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Then maybe it could have been completely different.
For
It
the
could have had
record,
a
I don't
chance.
think it's Phil's fault. I think it's more than likely
No, but it's just
Google's
like,
fault. But it's
yeah.
the meme that it's anything that Phil Harrison touches goes to die. It's pretty funny. But
Yeah.
yeah. Anyway, let's move on from Stadia. Enough people have said out. They've let the
Yeah.
bitcheries out.
The only good thing is they are refunding pretty much
Yeah,
everything, aren't they?
me and Chris get a small small check back.
Yeah.
For me, it's about £220. I think I wrote down. And Chris is probably a little bit more. But
Yeah, no, I think mine's a bit less, but I didn't include the controller and that, so I can't remember how much that was.
mine was £120 for the Premiere set like 3 years ago. So it will get used on a console that's actually worth playing, which is literally that's how I sold it to my girlfriend. I was like, oh, when I buy £200 worth of games in, whenever I get this rebate, by the way, it's not actual money. And she's like, do whatever you want. That's fine.
Yeah.
It's your money. But yeah, so
Yeah.
thank you for paying for my new PS5 controller, Google.
Yeah.
And I'm sure on the channel that there will be an event on January 18th, just before it gets turned off. I want you two on there to the bitter end.
Well, the thing is, right, the way that Google have been saying it, because obviously they're like, oh, it should still work until then. Like, I'm fully expecting half of the games to not be working by Christmas Day, bro. Let alone, like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't think.
Yeah, they
They'll
said
Yeah,
go
some
out with a
things might
whimper,
not
I'm sure.
start will stop working and that. I guess it might be online stuff with service just for Stadia. I'm guessing it's like
those poor devs have got just Stadia servers.
yeah, I guess stacks on stacks. They'd be like, well, what are we paying for this for in December? We might as well turn it off and save us a few quid or something.
But yeah,
Sad times.
sad
Sad
times.
times.
Next one, Gregor. Next bit.
Moving on to something more upbeat, more happy. EA have released a couple of trailers this week. We'll start with one that we probably care less about, and that is the Dead Space trailer. A game that I feel like most people kind of want to just shit on and weren't that optimistic for. But this trailer that dropped actually looked really good, I thought personally. Coming
Looks
out quite soon.
really similar to Callisto Protocol, doesn't it? Like, I didn't
Oh yeah.
realize how similar those games were. Like, they have like the same powers, which I
Oh
didn't
yeah.
even
It
realize.
looks. It's going to be interesting because they're obviously coming out pretty much within like a month of each other as well. Um, seems to only be this gen only, not doing last gen as well. So it'd be interesting to see kind of there's that weird battle in that month. This
One of them is, isn't
trailer,
it? One of them is last gen, Chris. Am I wrong? I
I
thought.
think Callisto might be on PS4 and Xbox One, but I'm not
yeah,
100% sure.
Okay.
yeah, I don't think Dead Space is.
Well, I
Looking at this
guess that
trailer.
helps it a bit because you got slightly bit more audience there if you're looking in terms of sales.
Yeah. Like I said, I'm tempted to maybe pick this up. I thought this trailer looked really good, and I've not played the Dead Space games before. Dave, I know absolutely no chance.
So,
Couldn't pay him.
Craig, I'm going to pose a question to you here. I
Ooh.
don't think you should bother because it is going to come to Game Pass because it's EA
Yeah.
and Callisto Protocol is out around the same time, right? Like, surely just play the new game that's new.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see
Because
how close the
as the
protocol
next
goes.
thing
That
you're
might
about to
whet my
talk about,
appetite then.
by the way, the next game you're about to talk about is I'm having this discussion in my own head about doing the same with that. So please tell us what else they showed, Gregor.
Yeah. But quickly, Pengy, any interest? I know
Sorry.
you're not a big Dead Space guy.
Nah, I'm not fussed about either of them.
Sad times. Sad times. One that, well, again, Pengy probably won't be interesting because it's EA, but we got the Need for Speed Unbound kind of reveal trailer came out this week. Confirmed December date as well, which is not that far away. Had a very pretty art style that people seem to be very high on. And generally as well, the reaction just seemed to be very positive for this. Again, I can't imagine Pengles, you got any interest in this?
None whatsoever.
None whatsoever, but I know Dave does.
Oh, I'm so excited. Like this is what I was saying, like I've been considering whether I want to pre-order it or not. But really, again, it's next gen only, which is really exciting. I am gonna have to wait for reviews, I think, and it's also like it's gonna come to Game Pass and it will get cheaper. So it's like I probably should just hold off. But yeah, I'm really excited to see more of that game. It's weird that it's coming out in 2 months, to be honest with you. And obviously we've barely seen any gameplay, but yeah, I'm very
Is
high on it.
this the same Need for Speed? Because you remember a couple of years ago at an E3 or something, they showed like I want to say tech demo of the next Need for Speed game, and that like looked proper like next gen realistic, and then we've got this with the cool art style. So you reckon two? Because there's multiple teams, so that
No, this is
more
Criterion, so
realistic,
this is I think they will still do Need for Speed every other year, but I think this one has to do well.
right?
But that they're putting Criterion on it, so it's their A team for racing games, for those type of
Yeah, I
racing
think
games. And
Criterion was the ones with the tech demos, so it
maybe,
must
but
have
also that tech
moved
demo
into
was
this.
pre-Codemasters purchase,
Mm.
so I think a lot of their racing strategy has changed, purely because they now have the best racing studio, giving them knowledge. But I'm excited that they're doing something different, that it isn't just a next gen racing game, because I just think the Forza does it better than anyone else. So I feel like going more unique is just a better way, to be honest with you. And to be honest with you, I liked Heat. I thought Heat was really good. Has a really slow start, which I think kills it for a lot of people. But once you've played that game for about 2 hours, it's a really, really good Need for Speed experience. But
No, you're doing that thing Craig says. It's bad for a couple of hours and then
well,
gets good.
I think if you can't play a game for 2 hours and then you know what I mean, like then make your decision. But yeah,
Yeah, I mean, I kind of agree. I thought it looked really good. Got me excited for it because I've dabbled in the Need for Speed games on EA Play through Game Pass the last few, and I didn't enjoy them that much. So I ended up just kind of giving up on both the ones that I tried. So hopefully the gameplay kind of matches the visuals. And I don't know if I end up buying it. We'll see. It depends what else is kind of. It's December, isn't it? So it's kind of a barren that and Callisto Protocol, I guess. So we'll see if there's any like Game Passy stuff that might cause me to wait and just get it on Game Pass. But moving on, boys, over to Sony. We had reports. These kind of like weird reports that just seem to have leaked mainly through Twitter, as far as I can see, of Horizon Zero Dawn remake, remaster, Last of Us Part One sort of style thing going on. It was this game that I think all three of us really liked when it came out. I believe it was in our top 25 as well when we did
yeah, it's
that.
my favorite PS4 game. I'll happily
Yeah.
put out there.
Is there any hype for this at all?
Absolutely none.
as
Absolutely none.
a PS5 owner and a PS4 owner, there is this something that you guys would pick up?
No.
No.
No, it's too soon, and I'm not. This is going to sound like a defense of The Last of Us, and it's absolutely not. But like, The Last of Us is a shorter, linear experience, so I can understand people wanting to replay that. But like, Horizon Zero Dawn is like a 40-hour game if you're going to play all of it, and it's obviously this is going to have Frozen Wilds, so it's like I don't like if Forbidden West has just come out and you've just played that. Like, I don't really see, unless you haven't played Zero Dawn, then I don't really see why you would want to. But again, I'm pretty sure Zero Dawn is a enhanced for PS5 game and is
Yep,
on.
it's already got a PS5
Yeah, and I
update.
think it's on
So,
PS Plus extra, right?
yeah,
So it's
yeah.
like okay, bit of a weird
It
move.
does seem like a strange move, like you said, especially if they've already done like a upgraded version, which I'm assuming is free, or is it like a £10 upgrade?
No,
So
It's free.
free,
It's
totally
not
free.
a PS5 SKU. It's a it's a PS4 performance patch.
So they're
Yeah, so
really
it's
gonna
now
have to justify like it being a lot better than that. That's the thing.
yeah,
Yeah, pretty
like
much.
where this is obviously The Last of Us, they've said multiple times, ground up, remake, blah blah blah, of that. Like this Horizon's come from like some leaked document from 2021, and it's listed on the document as a remaster, not as a remake. So that means you'd think even less work is done on it than the Last of Us remake. So again, like you said, it's going to take even more to justify the thing where you go, well, I can already play it at like checkerboard 4K at 60 frames a second on my PS5. You've not gone on the whole hog like you did with The Last of Us. So like, yeah, it's a thing. But from the document, one of the biggest the selling points, and it's not for us, is the accessibility options and that, which seems to be like again from this doc, which is like the biggest thing they're adding in. But I don't know if that could be something that you could just patch into the current Horizon.
I'm
I'm
sure
not.
I'm sure
I'm
you
not.
could. Like I've seen
Yeah,
PS4 games with those features, but again,
yeah,
like
like The Last of Us Part Two, I had it, and it's like
yeah, God
sort
of
of
War has
things.
it for sure.
Yeah, well, in the new one's got it, so I
Yeah,
don't really know. Again, that seems to be like there was like again this leaked eternal document's got like lots of games that mainly stuff that's all using the Decima engine and some XDev stuff. So it hasn't got like what Sucker Punch is doing listed or what Naughty Dog's got listed and stuff like that. And again, it says like stuff, and one of them was like the accessibility thing for this. I can only see why we're getting this is much like The Last of Us and much like the Uncharted collection on thing. Like the Uncharted collection came out pretty much close to the film. Last of Us has just come out. We obviously just got the trailer for the series. The series comes next year. The PC version of that comes next year. This come out. The Netflix show will come out for Horizon and stuff like that. So they trying to link it up. Like that leak document's got a vehicular combat game listed. There's a Twisted Metal show coming as well. So you can see what Sony's trying to do here. They're trying to tie in their games to the TV shows and the movies. So I don't think there's Horizons for us. I think it's for someone that watches Horizon on Netflix and goes, I want to play that game. They walk into game and they like see Horizon, on the shelf, and it's a PS5 game, and they don't look at the used PS4 section and that.
Yeah, it's just a weird trend, isn't it? I completely forgot that they'd done the Uncharted collection as well.
Yeah, which is like next to the movie. And
Yeah,
even the Spider-Man, when we, saw Far From Home, like the adverts before, they had like the advert for Miles Morales, in before it. So
yeah. Do we think this is a worrying trend, or is it just something that people
so
will buy and other people will just completely
as long
ignore?
as it doesn't affect the new games, then I'm okay with it. Like as long as they keep making um Horizon Zero Dawn 3 and it's not
mm,
been affected, like they're not taking projects away, then
yeah,
fine. But I would much rather they put that money elsewhere. But again, the reason they're having to do this is because of how much they've bungled backwards compatibility in comparison to Xbox. Xbox physically couldn't do this because of smart delivery. So that's kind of like their thing. They're Sony. They did this last time. The PS4 is full of remasters, like full of including The Last of Us, which they've done every generation so far.
mm,
Like, you know what I mean? So like, is it a surprise? No, it's not. They always do this. It's just the level of it. I think the £70 bump and how close
yeah,
it is pushing people. But I personally think that it would be better if they just literally came out and called them what they are, and that's Netflix editions. Like if they literally just like, you know what I mean, just came out and were like,
mm,
hey, like because of the Netflix show, we're doing this. Like, and people wouldn't. People like your mega fans are still going to buy it. Like the ponies still want to play games. There isn't that much on the PS5 still, so it's like cool. But yeah, I mean, I
yeah.
still haven't finished Forbidden West, so I have nothing. I have no. I'd rather they did DLC for that. But there you go.
Yeah, well, on this document, it had loads from Gorilla and like DLC for Forbidden West was listed. Obviously,
Yeah.
Call of the Wild was listed, which is the VR game.
Call of the Mountain,
This
that's
was
called.
Call of the Mountain. Sorry. Obviously the remaster. See, this is the thing. It's also remastered. So, like, will it be £70 when a remake is £70? It makes it feel like,
It'll be £70. Also, as well,
yeah,
this
it's
these
like it feels like if you're charging 70, you should be charging less for a remaster than a remake. But I
this
don't
is
know.
Sony. They'll charge
Um,
£70.
Maybe
yeah,
they
what
should
else?
charge more for the remake. Maybe that would have fixed it. Maybe Last of Us
Yeah,
Part 1 should have been 90 quid.
Well, the thing is, you've
yeah,
just
and
brought up, Chris, as well. Sorry to cut you off. Is that so? They obviously announced. I don't think we've talked about that. VR2 is not backwards compatible, so that you're going to get remakes, remasters of all the good PSVR 1 games probably as well.
yeah.
So
What else
it's not
was-
going to.
And there was the multiplayer Horizon was also listed.
Yeah,
as well.
the Monster Hunter sounding one. Which, to be honest with you, I wish Craig had a PS4. I might even lend Craig my PS4 if that is crossplay, because
Yeah,
that sounds
there was
like fun.
there was again like 5 or 6 Horizon projects on this document again, like because of the next bit. So the thing I think with these TV shows and these movies and stuff like that, if it brings back stuff like Twisted Metal, and then we suddenly have, oh yeah, we're gonna do a, I don't know, Sly.
Yeah, bring me back Sly or like something fun. I want another Astros game, so make an Astro TV show and series. That game's
Yeah,
great.
that's the thing. If Sony was like, oh yeah, we're doing an Astro Netflix like kid show or something, we're doing an Astro game, we're like, yeah, sure, that makes sense. So
But yeah,
But moving on from
moving
Sony
swiftly on from Sony.
to Poland, CD Projekt Red announced a long-term roadmap, guys, which included
they love a roadmap. Then they said a project. Oh, they love a roadmap.
which included 5 projects and a DLC. So they announced another Cyberpunk game, as well as DLC, which, to be fair, they'd already announced before for Cyberpunk. A new IP called Project Hadar at the moment. I'm assuming they're going to change that name because it sounds silly.
No, let's go full Square Enix. Let's call it Just call it Hadar.
And a new Witcher trilogy, boys.
yeah.
So exciting! I think it's really exciting.
Just seems insane that they've announced all this in one
So-
go.
Okay, so I'm obviously the talky one. I will give you my thoughts on this. I think this goes 2 ways, and I like it, but it goes 2 ways. Either this pans out fantastically for them and they go back to the top, or they go full BioWare and it all ends in tears. So I think that's why they're doing it. People want more Witcher, so announcing more Witcher is not a bad idea. I think announcing there's a trilogy tempers expectations slightly because there's no chance in hell. Because the detail they also said they want this trilogy to come out over 6 years. There is no way that all 3 of those games are 140 hours long. Those 3 games will probably be The Witcher 3 cut into 3 parts in terms of length, which would be fine, to be honest with you. But yeah, Cyberpunk's had a bit of a resurgence though, hasn't it? Hasn't the Netflix show saved it?
Because of the Netflix show.
Yeah, God. We'll cut full circle. Has anyone watched the Netflix show?
No, I don't have Netflix. It's too expensive.
I also don't have Netflix because it's too expensive. But also, I got really close to buying Cyberpunk. It's one of those that's on the backlog list quite heavily. I'm just waiting for that next gen patch, Craigo.
It's not it, isn't it? It's
Is
there.
it fully next gen on both
Yeah,
consoles? Okay.
Yeah, that's because I played it.
You played it on
I
Xbox, I
at the
presume.
start of the year.
I didn't think the full next gen was coming to the first DLC.
Yeah, because I think
bit.
they've done like because this is where shit gets confusing. Like there isn't a PS5 version, for example. It's a enhanced PS4 version. It's more difficult to tell on Xbox because of their actually good backwards compatibility. But
Yeah.
I think that's what the thing is. But
Yeah, I don't think the actual proper next.
because they haven't done
version.
the PS5 version of Witcher 3 yet, have they? To do it because that I'm waiting for that.
That's getting delayed non-stop, isn't it?
Yeah, I want that one, like because I want all the Henry Cavill stuff. Because they keep saying, "Oh, we're going to put all the stuff in from the show," and I'm like, "Oh, I love the show. Give me more."
But
Great.
it is a bad omen that, like, like you say, the stuff that they've already announced before this just seems to be going backwards and backwards.
Oh yes.
And now they've announced a hell of a lot more. And especially as we know how badly the launch went. So yeah, we'll see how that pans out.
Yeah,
I
it's
guess.
a bold strategy con. Let's see if it.
So
picks
which
Yeah.
one do you think's first then? Witcher 4? What the
Yeah.
first of the new trilogy?
The new Witcher, because
Yeah.
I think they will be smaller games. I mean, I'm surprised they're not remaking Witcher 1 and 2, to be honest with you, because those stories could be retold, unless that is what they're doing, and we don't, it's in different words.
Mm.
But yeah, I mean, more Witcher's good. Witcher will sell no matter what unless it's horrendous. Witcher will sell. So yeah,
Yeah, definitely.
even Craig will play The Witcher.
Oh, of course I will. Leading on to our final topic, boys, and it's more cloud stuff because that's what we are now. We're just a cloud and handheld podcast.
We did try that once.
Razer announced the Razer Edge 5G, which is a competitor to the Logitech system that was announced a couple of weeks ago. We don't know much about it. We've seen a few snippet pictures of it. They've told us that we're going to get more information on October 15th. Most people seem to think that it's going to be more expensive, which is an interesting proposition to start
It's
with.
Razer, right? Razer's always more expensive.
Mm.
Yeah. Do we think this is going to be like the new meta that every company's just going to make one of these cloud handheld systems?
Yes, I do.
Mm.
I think
Yeah.
the Google Stadia death does not help cloud, but it doesn't affect it because no one gave a shit anyway. Because people love xCloud. People are beginning to like PlayStation Plus. People love GeForce Now. So
Equals now, yeah.
so it's starting to get to the point. And at the end of the day, for these companies, it is cheaper for them to make a cloud device than it is for them to make a Steam Deck. So why not? Why not? And at the end of the day, like you said before, if it's got Game Pass on it, it's much more of an attractive proposition because you can buy it and you don't have to buy any games for it. It's basically just a dedicated handheld for you. And yeah, like if these would come out and they're reasonable price next year or the year after, like I'll be tempted. If I do most of my gaming in my house anyway, why not?
I think the interesting thing is as well that Logitech obviously had the Game Pass cloud partnership that was announced straight away. This had the Xbox branding at the end of the teaser trailer, so we can assume that it's going to have the Game Pass cloud version. So Xbox seems fairly willing to work with these companies, which for me begs the question of why have we not got Game Pass on Steam Deck? And the only logical answer I can think of is that Steam don't want Game Pass on their Steam Deck.
Yeah, it's coming though. I mean, Microsoft work
Mm.
quite closely with Valve on quite a lot of stuff, right? So I
Yeah.
think it's coming. Like I think there'll be a dedicated app. It's quite easy to set up on the Steam Deck, to be honest with you. I just don't think you're going to get native games on Steam. I just don't think. I don't. To be honest with you, I don't think anyone is going to make a native Game Pass machine. I just don't think there's any.
Yeah,
I
because
just don't think
I
there's any
don't know
money
if
in
it's
it, to be honest.
I don't know if it's this because that Jez guy tweeted something like, there's something better than the Logic tech coming," and everyone presumes it's this Razer. And then I think quite a few of the tweets are back is like, "Is it a native Xbox handheld, a native?" And then his replies, "No, it's still cloud based. It's still cloud based sort of thing." So
Yeah, I don't know. I think if he's tweeting that, I don't think it will be this. I'd imagine
it's
maybe
something
it's.
else, something else again.
Yeah, I think it potentially could be something else again, knowing
It's
Jez. Um,
Alienware's
yeah. I was trying to think of this is how un PC gamer I am. I couldn't even think of another
Well,
company that
Microsoft
makes
do make
peripherals.
their own
mm,
laptops, tablets.
yeah. I guess they could just do a Surface.
They could. I'm surprised there isn't a Surface bundle that they've put together. And I'm just waiting for Apple to do theirs, and I'm waiting
Oh,
for
no
Amazon
one's
to
waiting
do
for
theirs.
that, Dave. Christ,
Oh,
no
they'll
one
do
wants
it.
that in
I
this
think
world.
they'll do it. I'm surprised that Amazon haven't done it yet because I think that makes the most sense because they have their own they have their own cloud system, so
Mm.
I don't see why they wouldn't do that. But yeah, it's
Does that mean
interesting.
Apple Arcade could live again?
I think Apple Arcade does quite well, to be honest with you, but it's just not for us. It's so casual. Like it's such a casual gamer platform, but I think it does pretty well because it's very well priced. Like
Mm.
I think it's a fiver,
Yeah, it's a
and they do
fiver.
the
Yeah.
smart thing where they have a all-in-one Apple subscription that gets you like Apple TV, Apple Music. Like so, it's not they're not stupid with it. But obviously we don't play Apple games, so we have no context, do we? So, but yeah, I mean you're really the audience for this Xbox Game Pass Cloud handheld, Craig. Is the more they announce, the more you're getting tempted.
Maybe. I mean, the fact that by the sound of it, this is going to be even more expensive than Logitech puts me off of this. But I mean, we'll see what Jez is talking about. If it's something that Microsoft are making themselves as well, it's got a good chance of being cheaper because they can afford to
They can
sell
do
it
that.
at a
Yeah.
loss.
Yeah.
And with the idea that they make the money back on subscription. So it'd be interesting if that does come out along the line. Then maybe that's where I'll go. I'll get the Microsoft version.
Yeah, that's the thing is like if everyone can sort of make one of these because it's all just the cloud and whatever, it's like I guess it's going to be waiting for like which one's got the biggest screen or which one's got the best screen and all that sort of malarkey because it's not going to be like which one's got the biggest storage or anything like that.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I think the more people that make them, the cheaper they'll get because they have to compete with each other. So it's like if one more tech company were to jump in there as well, and then Microsoft to do one, and there's 4 or 5 of them, then because there is that with the like handheld PCs, like there is more than just the Steam Deck.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, well, if you're smart, then just keep putting them out, and eventually it'll get cheaper, and then it'll all be good for everyone.
Yeah. Like I can just see someone coming out like, yeah, we've got one and ours is only like 200 quid or something, but there's like it's got like a 5-inch screen or something. I'm like, yeah, that's how we did it for 200 quid.
We need the just essentials version of the
Well, there is
cloud-based
still a
handheld.
chip shortage, so like when that
Mm.
ends, then maybe we'll get the cheap ones that.
I'll get my Switch Pro.
Did you really want a Switch Pro?
Always.
You're gonna actually play?
Yeah.
Surely the Steam Deck's the Switch Pro, Pengy.
Yeah, I mean you don't play
Yeah.
you don't play your Switch handheld anyway, Pengy.
Yeah, but things can still be improved with a little bit more power.
Oh God, Chris Migueli, the Man City approach.
Need a little bit more power.
God, but
You
yeah,
know,
is that?
maybe Tears of the Kingdom be 60 frames or something with a Switch
You'd
Pro.
be happy with 30, Chris, and you'll have to accept
Yeah, let's take that
720p
across.
30. You're gonna have to just accept it. But yeah, is that all the news, Cricket?
That is the news, Davey. That is it.
Well, what a fantastic week, and we might actually keep this under an hour for the first time in what feels like decades. So yeah, unless anyone has anything else to add, thank you for watching this week's episode of the Potable Gamescast. If you give us your thoughts about Stadia and cloud and all that good stuff in the comments below, and we will see you next week.
Bye.